right, we're live. Let's get a quick mic check, a video check. Can you see everything okay? Are there any issues with the live stream today? Everything should be okay. We've been fixing all the issues in our new office. How's everyone doing today? Interested in Ethereum? Will I do a TA on Ethereum? Always, brother. I will always do TA on Ethereum. Hi man, Bitcoin dropping again, time to sell. Jump into conclusions, I like it, standard crypto. A little bit of a drop today. Gonna wait for a few more people to jump into the live stream today. I got a special request from one of our VIP members to actually start these live streams a little bit later because you guys need to watch adverts before you can actually get in. So just gonna wait 1 or 2 minutes. What else have we got in the comment sections today? No checks, no issues. Very good, very good. Video and audio 10 out of 10. Thank you all very much. I also got another piece of constructive criticism, which was that my face is inconsistently lit up during these live streams. I'm very aware of that. At the moment, I don't really have a good solution. I have a solution, but I don't like that solution. So maybe I'll try it in the next one. Let's get straight into it. I think that's enough. Everyone's here now. So let's jump into it. Bitcoin ended up taking this little pump up from $28,000, not $29,000 yesterday, and we peaked at 33.8. So interestingly, this is exactly where I drew the horizontal line, although this wasn't the key area of resistance that I was looking for. I was actually looking for Bitcoin to get rejected a little bit higher. Is my microphone connected? Yeah, I think so. I was looking to what are the girls like in Dubai? They're amazing. Yeah, it's much better than because you get girls from everywhere here. Okay, I think audio should be good now. And so what we ended up doing is we got rejected at this 33.34k level, but it wasn't actually the key area that I was looking at. I was looking for Bitcoin to reach this level and then potentially dump a little bit lower. But unfortunately, we didn't do that. We peaked a little bit before. I don't necessarily want to draw a conclusion based off that, but it is pretty clear that we got the rejection I was looking for. You guys will remember, smash up the likes. Thank you very much, Phil. Wendy saying I look fine. Thank you very much. In a good mood today. I'm caffeinated. I needed to be. I didn't get much sleep. And but Kobe doesn't like it. and so we did end up getting a small rejection off this level, but this wasn't the level I was looking for. And so I don't think Bitcoin has gone as high as it needed to, but if we keep in mind all the reasons that I was telling you that I think Bitcoin is actually bearish and potentially in a little bit of trouble, how I was telling you there's a lot of signs of weakness, we constantly flipped old support levels into new resistance levels throughout this trend, and so we had a lot of signs of weakness in this market, in my opinion. If we keep that in mind, then actually it doesn't necessarily come as much of a surprise that Bitcoin topped out over here and then ended up trending lower already. And it's already down by a couple percentage points. I know that this isn't really a big deal, but it's not a big range. And so being down by 6% here is, broadly speaking, when you put it into the context of what already happened, this means nothing, right? Even on the daily chart, this move, by the way, is not bad at all. You know, like we dropped by $10,000 from our all-time high and still no one gives a fuck because, you know, realistically, we all know that Bitcoin is probably going to go up. Like we all have pretty strong opinions on that. What's with the flower shirts recently? This is a jacket, bro. It's just a cool little jacket. Is that my Hugh Hefner jacket? That was the goal. That's what I was going for. And so we ended up dipping by about 10k, but again, it's not really a big deal. However, what's concerning about this is we did already get our rejection and we are on our way down. Volume still hasn't peaked, so it looks like this could just be a staircase pattern and then we end up trading up. This is entirely possible right now, and I can't rule it out. Again, it's the reason that I'm not in a short position right now. I was talking quite vocally about how I did think it wasn't a terrible idea to enter short positions at this time, and obviously at the time of yesterday's video, if I did enter a short position, I would be in a small profit. It's like a 3% move down since yesterday's video, and you know, I would have traded that on 10 times leverage, so it's about 30%. A lot of compliments. Thank you all very much today. That's very, very nice of you. I would have been in something like a 33% profit if I did trade this, but I don't see that the risk to reward is worth it, because if we take a look at Ethereum, I think the picture is actually a little bit more clear for Ethereum because it's stronger than Bitcoin lately. Bitcoin down by 3.5% today, Ethereum only down by 0.5% today. And so Ethereum is clearly in a bull flag from what I'm seeing right now. It definitely looks like it's in a bullish chart pattern. And actually you can see quite clearly if we zoom into, let's say, the 30-minute time frame, you can see that we start consolidating around the high and we get rejected, but we spend much more time consolidating down here and then moving back up. And we've done that twice now. Look, we spend more time on average at the support than we do at resistance. Depending on your opinion and your bias, you can take this both ways. Either this is bad because the price keeps getting sent down here, or this is good because Ethereum keeps getting accumulated. And I actually am of the latter opinion. I think this shows accumulation on Ethereum within this support range, which doesn't come as a surprise. So I actually think this looks good, whereas I do think that Bitcoin is showing weakness, and that makes this really confusing because we have two opposing signs in this market, in my opinion, and that just makes it a little bit too inconsistent to do good TA at the moment. Just kind of with the approaches that I like to take. But what I'm seeing with Bitcoin is pretty clear. I mean, you know, there's this sustained downtrend. We keep forming things like rising wedges, then they break, then we form small rising wedges, then they break, then a slightly bigger one, broken, a very big one, and broken. And so you know, we formed another one recently. We're potentially in another one right now, and these are all potentially bearish signs in the short term. And this makes a lot of sense, because if we look at things like the Ichimoku cloud right now on the 1 hour time frame, you can see a pretty clear rejection of the Ichimoku cloud on the 1 hour time frame twice. We can't even like break into it and trade inside of the cloud. Look at this. The first time we got rejected, we got sent a grand or two lower. The second time we traded in it and we were very quickly kicked out of the cloud. We're now consolidating inside of it, and so I expect this cloud is going to start closing up if we keep showing strength, and it'll turn into support, which would be very nice. But for now, we do still have resistance here, and it's about, you know, what's going to happen with the momentum. Let's take a look at Link. Some talk about Link. Yeah, Link past its all-time high. We talked about this in the last live stream, so this doesn't come as a surprise. But the momentum on the 4 hour, definitely something that I'm interested in looking at, because we do, you know, we are in a situation now where we have gotten rejected off this 4 hour EMA ribbon. It's the same indicator I was talking to you about in the last video, where, you know, I was showing you that we got a confluence now. You know, we have horizontal resistance lining up with Ichimoku resistance, lining up with now EMA resistance as well, and we've been rejected by this momentum. And so this could get uglier and uglier and send Bitcoin lower, and we take it back to the title. Shout out to everyone in this live stream, by the way, already up to 700 viewers. Amazing. Thank you very much. Let's smash up those likes, and if you are new to the channel, then please do subscribe. We've been very, very on point with this on this YouTube channel lately, so you don't want to miss out on this. But you know, we are in a situation right now, I think, where, going back to the title of this video, if we do end up dropping down, you know, here's the deal. You know, I've defined some rough support areas for you guys. I'll do it again really quickly on this chart because it's clean. And you know, I'm seeing some support at 27.7 just because this was a big bounce zone for the market, and so it's just like a sexy area for the price to fall down to. I also think 24 would make a lot of sense, but failing that, the only support we have, the biggest support we have, is down at 20k. And so if we end up actually getting rejected at these levels, and we've already started that, I don't think that 30k will hold, and I've covered that with you in a previous live stream already, so you guys know exactly what my thoughts are on this. But I don't believe that this support area is going to hold if we test it again, and that's because we didn't really use it as resistance on the way up, but we've used it as support so many times now, and actually it failed most recently. So we dipped a little bit below it, and not massively below the support level, mind you. It wasn't like a really big fake out, but I mean, it was still 4%, you know. So by most people's rules, this was a failure of the support level. It did turn out to be a fake out, but that's not really the point. We already dropped below it by quite a bit, and you know, that's showing us that there is weakness in this market. And if we do go back down to these levels, I don't think they're going to hold. And so that means we're probably looking at the next support area, which would be down here at 27.7, in my opinion, going off my analysis. Obviously, I'm never giving you financial advice, so don't listen to me. In fact, probably click off this live stream right now. That's my legal disclaimer done. And if this area fails, you see, the thing is, I think there's a decent chance of this area failing just because there's not much confluence here. You know, there's a small rejection here, a small support hit, another small support hit, and then a big support hit. it's not easy to establish support in this trend. We didn't have a chance to establish support, so it's not easy to find it on the way down. And the point is, if these bears are strong and they're regaining strength, and crucially, if people are starting to panic in this market, I think we have a very, very easy route for this market to start dumping massively just out of panic. And that can definitely happen because of what I described to you in the last live stream, where we were seeing a lot of things in this market, broadly speaking, where people were we're fine with stomaching these drops, like it's not particularly uncomfortable to see Bitcoin going from 42 down to 30,000, like it's already at 30,000. It's fucking amazing, right? Everyone's super happy with that no matter what. But it's the fact that these drops are happening over a sustained period of time. So I'll take you back to what happened in 2017 just to prove this point to you again. And it's the same point I keep on going back to because we're following it so accurately. So if you've been watching this channel for a while, you will remember I've been comparing a lot of this trend to 2017 because we've been following it so well. And actually that's how I predicted the all-time high breakout. To be fair, the all-time high breakout was really obvious. Anyone could have predicted it, but it was very, very easy for us on this FORFLIES channel to be aware of where it might happen. And that's why subscribers of this channel just completely rode that wave up. I was making huge gains throughout this trend as well because it was moving in such a similar way to 2017. And so I want to keep your eyes focused on this because what we had back here was very similar to what we're in right now. We rallied really nicely, really quickly up to this all-time high at $3,000, a very nice flashy number at the time. And then we got a big dump and we recovered most of it. So we got the dead cat bounce, typical, exactly the same thing we have in our market right now. In fact, let me just prove this to you really quickly, especially for those of you who haven't been watching the channel too much. Maybe if you're new, you probably missed this, but I'll just show it to you again really quickly. It's exactly the same thing. I mean, it's like if you were here in 2017, then none of this would be coming as a surprise to you, and that's why with this FORFLIES channel we've been able to predict what's going on with such ease. But what we had back here was that really big run up. Look at that, the really big run up in exactly the same way. I mean, let's just break down the characteristics real quick. We run up really quickly, then we get a big drop down, and then that drop recovers really quickly. Look at this, run up really quickly, big drop down, recovers really quickly, and then we have what's called a blow off top, right? So we get the blow off top right here, and then we trade lower by quite a lot. Blow off top, trade lower by quite a lot, dead cat bounce. This is a bounce that doesn't stick in the market. Bam, dead cat bounce. And then we just kind of trade sideways a little bit until the floor eventually breaks. Just kind of trade sideways, floor eventually breaks. And the thing is, in each of these cases, it wasn't necessarily that these price moves were scary. At this time, it definitely was scary for me. You guys already know I panic sold over here and I bought back around over here in August. So I was really stupid back then. I was also very young, to be fair, so you couldn't expect much from me. But we were in a situation here where the market was, number one, it was dumping by quite a bit, right? Just large percentage moves. But number two, it was doing it over a sustained period of time. So it's one thing to dump quickly, but it's another thing to dump and then trade sideways and then dump again, because that's where you start to think actually this market is going to stick to these very scary bits of price action. And that's exactly what we look to be doing right now. We're in a very, very similar setup where we've been trading sideways, granted not for a long time within this pattern. It's only been about 15 days, but from start to finish with this consolidation, or whatever you want to call this continuation pattern, we're now pushing 2.5 weeks into 3 weeks. And so this is becoming more of a mid-term, long-term issue in the market. And the thing is, if we do end up dropping down now, it's just going to become what's more like sustained downward trading action. It's not just a flash crash. It's not something that you can write off as, oh, Bitcoin is just doing its thing, it's just crashing a little bit and then it's going to recover up quickly, because we saw a lot of that, right? It's just crashing a little bit, recovering up quickly. We saw that a lot during this trend. But what we have right now is more of a sustained downtrend. And when we talk about how the market is going to produce the maximum amount of pain in the market for the maximum number of traders, it comes in the form of sustained downward movement that just breaks at your confidence, right? It's like a pickaxe, and it's just trying to hit your confidence and crack it and then make your statue crumble. That's what's going on over here. And so you got to keep in mind, a lot of you guys, I don't know how many of you guys are new in this market, how many of you guys have stomached these kind of drops, but a lot of the people who are new, who bought after 20k, they are going to start to think, hang on a minute, Bitcoin has been dropping, then it traded sideways, and now it's dropping really low again. And that's the thing. It's at this point where people start thinking, and now it's dropping low again. It looks like the boat is over. It looks like I might have missed it. That fear, uncertainty, doubt starts coming in. You know, you and I, we can very easily talk about Bitcoin falling down to $20,000 right now, and we're going to get a chubby because it's amazing. It's like a really, really cool idea to think about. Like Bitcoin going down to 20k is very exciting. Obviously, it's an amazing buy opportunity. It's one thing to say that, but it's another to actually go down there. And a lot of you guys listening to this right now who think, yeah, I would definitely buy, a lot of you wouldn't when we actually go down there, because then reality hits you and it actually looks scary, and that's where you know that you're in gold. And so, you know, we go back to the title of this live stream, looking at another $10,000 dump. We definitely have the pieces in place to do that, because we've already gotten that rejection now of this old area of support, right? It was an area of support, this relative area. Now it's potentially become an area of resistance. We actually didn't have that in 2017, by the way, so that makes this, in my opinion, a little bit worse, because anytime we test the support area, it's as a new area of resistance, it's just like a big slap in the face, essentially, the way I see it. And I think that makes it quite you know, concerning. And like I said, I mean, a rejection off that Ichimoku cloud, a rejection off the momentum, we didn't need to travel into this range. You know, the fact that we got rejected earlier, you could just interpret that as Bitcoin didn't even have the strength to go that high. I got a question in the last live stream, Sammy, don't you think that, you know, this pump is moving really quickly and Bitcoin is going to hit these highs and just keep flying through it? And my response was no. It was quite a clear no. If you guys were listening yesterday, you'll remember that very well, because actually you know, like these things are just noise, in my opinion, you know. And the overall point is, we are in a situation where we have some weakness in the market, and we will, you know, get big moves up every now and then, but the point is they're getting rejected at resistance, right? And not heavy resistance. This was not heavy resistance over here, but Bitcoin ended up dumping down by quite a bit, right? Let's actually measure this from high down to low. This dump was minus 15% in a day, and so, and not at heavy resistance. This resistance, in my opinion, was heavier, because yes, it wasn't an all-time high, but we got rejected here, we found support here, we found a lot of support here actually, and now we got rejected here. And so this area had a lot more price history, which means a lot more opportunity essentially to reject Bitcoin, and that to me makes it a stronger area of resistance. Right now, like I said, we could be looking at another potential staircase to trade higher, and if we do that, I actually think there's a decent chance that Bitcoin will break this resistance. Then we start talking about my bullish scenario, because like I said, right now I'm not in a position, I'm not betting on any one direction in the market right now, because I don't think it's sensible to. I have very strong opinions that I think we're going to keep trading downwards, but I'm not trading them because I don't need to. You know, I'm not as sure about that as my other trades. I only trade something when I'm 100% sure, because it's one thing to be wrong and it's a bit of an ego thing and it's like, whatever, I'm wrong, okay, you know, like I'm not losing money over it. It's another to actually be wrong with your money, and that's the main thing I try to avoid, you know. So I'll have strong opinions all the time. I'm supposed to, because I'm a trader, but I will only commit to these ideas when I'm very, very sure about these ideas, right? And so if we do end up pumping back up, I do think we'll be able to break this area of resistance and potentially trade higher. And for me, the golden pocket will be this green box. This is where we were previously getting some rejections and finding some support in the market, and so and we also got rejected here previously. So if we're able to rise into this green box, this is where I'll start getting very excited. And this is still quite far away. This is about 20% away for Bitcoin now, so it's still too early to talk about this. But if we do rise into this box, ideally if we just break above this box, that's where I start getting really bullish and look at Bitcoin potentially going up to that all-time high. But obviously, I think if Bitcoin goes up that high to the all-time high, I think it's just going to break it and rocket on upwards up to my main target of $50,000. I still have that target for Bitcoin. I just think that right now, within this current downtrend, there is a really, really good opportunity to strike more fear in this market, and that's what markets will usually do after such a nice run-up. We need that. That's healthy in a trend like this, and it's what will enable us to keep rising higher. Because, ladies and gents, I want to take you back to what happened in 2017 with that same situation that I keep on talking to you about, because it's so damn important in my opinion. The only reason, in my opinion, that Bitcoin was able to continue rising higher up to, you know, like what was it, like 10 times higher nearly? Yeah, it was more than 10 times higher from this low up to the all-time high. The only reason Bitcoin was able to do this was because it had this massive correction. You know, you pay for euphoria with despair. And so we had a lot of euphoria here, a lot of despair, and then the market kept moving up. That's just the natural way of these markets. It never changes. And so I think that's what enabled the trend to keep rallying higher. But obviously we went too far on the euphoria side, and so we had to pay for it with a lot of despair for a very, very long time. And again, this is super, super normal in the market. And so what I think we're having right here is exactly the same thing. And I think it's close to ending now because we've already fallen out of one big pattern on the midterm chart, you know, the 4-hour chart. We've already fallen out of the descending triangle with support over here. Now we're in a bigger descending triangle, but I absolutely think we could be looking at dropping down once again, and that would probably be enough because we do have a lot of support blowers. And the thing is, if these support levels do fail, then we do have support down at $20,000, and this to me is the indestructible one. I would be very surprised if this one fails, just because I know there's a lot of smart people that would look to buy at these levels. I don't know if I can call myself smart, but I would definitely be very, very interested in doing exactly that as well. Guys, we're at 1100 viewers. Thank you very much for tuning in. As you guys have realized now, this is pretty much a daily live stream. I love doing them. I really, really enjoy them. I had to jump on again today because the last one was going so well. So if we can shoot up those likes, let me know that you want to keep on getting these live streams from me every single day. You know I'm going to do it. So please pump up those likes. If you're new to the channel, please also subscribe. There's a lot more coming, and like I said, around 75k I'm planning something really, really big on this channel as a thank you for you guys. So you're gonna love it. You definitely want to be around for that. Every single one of you will benefit from it. So I'm really, really excited. Just looking at what my analyst sent me, and he's telling me exactly the same thing. It's funny, right? Like, I look at my analyst notes after I start recording every video. It's just so fluid, so you guys usually don't notice. And he always points out exactly the same things as me. He has done the same thing right now. And so he's talking about the next trade setup that we're considering as well, which is similar to what already happened, which is essentially saying if Bitcoin does creep up a little bit more, I think it's going to establish some more, I think it's going to hit some more resistance. Like I said, I think there's a decent chance of it breaking through, but it still hasn't seen the bulk of the resistance. So it could take another leg higher and then get a really big rejection. I was talking about this with Ethereum, where I don't think Ethereum went as high as it could have. I think Ethereum could have gone as high as potentially, you know, 1300, something like that, maybe even a little bit higher to close to the all-time high, and then get a rejection, because Ethereum is moving a lot better than Bitcoin right now. And so I think that Ethereum does have some potential to do that. And that means, as far as looking for a short entry, you know, like, I wouldn't be comfortable doing that right now. In fact, if we look at Ethereum right here, this is a really big deal, and I can't, you know, I haven't really given this enough attention lately. It's this diagonal line. You know, I don't usually use diagonal lines. They're, believe it or not, a little bit too complex. I like to keep my analysis very simple with just horizontal boxes and horizontal lines, and you've noticed that very well. This analysis is quite in-depth, but we use really, really simple tools. However, diagonal lines are still quite simple. And what we saw here was we got quite a few nice support hits off this line. Look, another one recently. But then when we dipped below this line, we actually established resistance here, and we got a rejection, which was a really scary thing in the market, I think. I actually expected Ethereum to probably dump a little bit lower. I did not expect it to pump up. I was actually considering entering a short position right here, but obviously I'm very glad that I didn't, because yet again, I wasn't completely sure about it. And I don't need to trade absolutely everything I see. I'm not that desperate, and that's what saves me from these losses. And so this would have been a loss if I entered it, and I'm glad that I didn't as a result. So we ended up pumping right through it. But now the thing that's really, really impressive to me is that on the move down that we saw right after my live stream, where I predicted these moves down, we actually bounced off this level as a new area of support again, as a renewed area of support. It was resistance, now it's flipped back to support. And, you know, when we get this, the reason that I thought this was bad and Ethereum would dump lower, and the reason that I think this is amazing and Ethereum will pump higher, is because this is usually a really, really strong sign in the market. I gave you a very weird analogy like months ago, but I think it's pretty accurate here, where it's like, you know, you've got a couple and they've broken up, and it's been like 4 or 5 months, and then they see each other again on the street, and it's that couple, it's the woman now committing, like, yeah, she's not getting back with him, she's gonna keep moving forward, and it's that's what this is saying. You know, it's like we've given it some time. There was some healing time. If ever there was going to be a chance that this couple would get back together, or that Ethereum would crash below the line, it's right here. But instead, Ethereum commits to the upside, and it's a very weird analogy. If it made sense to you, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, where essentially, I think that this is a really, really strong thing for Ethereum. It had a chance to do something catastrophic, but instead it did something the polar opposite, which is really just a big show of where the strength is in this market, in my opinion. And so I'm very, very happy with this bounce, and I do think, like I said, that's what's putting Ethereum in a bit of a bull flag right now. So you've probably noticed in this live stream now that my analysis has fallen back a little bit closer into neutral territory. I think there's some really good reason to believe that Bitcoin will continue to drop lower. However, we've already fulfilled a lot of what I said would happen. We didn't fulfill it as much as I said would happen, but we've done it, right? The first thing I said would happen is we'd plunge below 30. We didn't really plunge, but we fell 4% below, so that's enough, you know, like that's still a measured move down. Then we got rejected at resistance. This is the next thing that I said would happen, and we ended up trading lower. So we've already done a lot of what I was looking for, and for that reason, just seeing how these moves have happened, the fact that this wasn't a quick rejection, although it definitely can become a quick one, so I'm not ruling that out. I do think, especially when we look at a chart like Ethereum, there's still a lot of strength in this market right now. We can actually see this if we look at a coin like Link. Link broke the all-time high, and I mentioned to you guys that if Link clears a little bit of headroom above this all-time high at 23.7, $23.70, if it clears a little bit of headroom, I think it's going to fly. And I mentioned $25, $30 would be very, very easy for Link to hit, and as I speak, we're already at $25, which is again absolutely no surprise. So let's smash up the likes for that one, and subscribe if you are new to this channel, because it's just been on point with this channel just continuously. VIPs have been killing it. Oh, I didn't refresh the testimonials. Can I get some new testimonials right now? I don't know if my assistants have put the screen. No, they haven't really got any new screenshots in the no new screenshots. So I'll get them to put some new screenshots in here. This one's really cool. I want to show you this one today. I've already shown you this one, but I want to highlight it again. This guy joined VIP with a lifetime membership a long time ago, and we don't offer lifetime memberships anymore. This was a long time ago, and mentioned that he's up $114,000 after joining, and he messaged me a few days later to let me know that he actually started with 6,000 when he joined. So his lifetime sub was a really big proportion of his stack, and he's made it back many times over now, because he only had 6k left to trade with, 6k US, and he's ran it up to 114 since being in VIP. So that is super impressive. VIPs have been killing it. If you want to gain access into the group, we've just passed 920 members. I mentioned it yesterday, we were at like 915. It is blowing up. A lot of people making a lot of money in the group, really making very nice gains. And if you want to jump into the group and see how they've been able to do that, then the steps are on screen right now. Pause the video, follow these steps on screen, just click on the red boxes. And by the way, this is for PC and stuff like that and Mac, but if you're on your phone, the steps will be broadly similar. There's no sign up process, there's no download required. You're going to be in less than 30 seconds. So we'll give you the information about what's going on inside of the group by following these steps on screen. But let's take it back to the chart here. Oh, by the way, prices, they've been reduced. I've already mentioned that, so you guys know what's up. I just got a notice that the connection might be a little bit bad right now. So can you please let me know if we have any connection issues. Shout out to Brianna, sorry. I liked your live stream. Thank you very much. We're going to start going through your questions in just a minute. I'm not going to be going on for too long in this one because I've got some friends to meet up with. I'm meeting up with some people that I might actually be promoting to you guys if I feel like they're good. And I do so far. I think they're pretty good. That's why I'm meeting up with them today. And yeah, I just want to see, is there anything else from my core analysis that I really wanted to highlight to you? There is a little bit, and I'll talk about that in a bit. But right now, like I said, you know, the point I wanted to make when I talked about links, sorry, I got off track when I started bragging. It happens, I'm sorry. But, you know, the point with Link right here is there's a lot of speculation on this market, in this market right now. Link breached the all-time high. It breached it again just now today. We're already rallying higher. We're already at $25. We're potentially, I mean, $30 is very close now as well. I think it's bound to happen, you know, like a Link could just bounce off some of these support areas now and hit it. You know, I think it's super likely. And so Link's got that path. And the thing that's interesting to me about this, I see your messages about VIP, by the way. Assistant is online. He'll get back to you. He'll give you the information. But what I'm seeing right here with this trend is we have broken the all-time high. And the only reason we're breaking the all-time high like this, the only reason that, for example, Ethereum is performing so well right now is because there are still bullish speculators in this market. And that's not really coming as a surprise. We've got the Biden administration in now, and it doesn't really matter what your political stance is, but obviously the dollar is probably not going to be in amazing shape, and it wasn't with Trump anyway, because these politicians are all the fucking same. But the point is, Link ending up, you know, breaching its all-time high and rallying pretty nicely after that all-time high, by the way. Let's actually measure this. It's already up by, 7% since the all-time high. That's a big deal in my opinion. This is happening because there are bullish speculators in the market, and so there is definitely an argument, I think, for Bitcoin to not retrace by such a large amount, potentially only fall down to something like 27k and then rally right back up, or you know, I mean, this could turn out to be that staircase, and I'm not holding my breath for either right now, because I think there's a decent probability of both. I still think we have a better case for moving downwards, purely because I'm looking at this from a perspective of maximum pain. That's what these markets always seek to achieve, whether it's through a fear of missing out and sitting on the sidelines because, you know, you thought you would buy. I know some people, by the way, who did this. They actually they wanted to buy Bitcoin at $9,000 when we had this dip. Look at this. When we had this dip, they wanted to buy Bitcoin at 9,000. It only went down to 9,900, and they've been out of the market ever since. It's crazy. It's, you know, like, I understand you want a good price, you're waiting for a good price, but to save 10%, they missed out on 400%. No, they missed out on 300%, which is crazy. But people will be like that. There have been a lot of people who wanted to join VIP, and they were like, yeah, I'm just gonna wait for Bitcoin to drop down by like $500 and then I'm gonna buy. And so to save on, you know, like a 5% reduction in price on VIP against the dollar, they've missed out on all this rally and being able to absolutely grab these opportunities by the balls, like these VIP members have, plus 51% profit. The same thing over here. This was roughly a $6,000 profit, plus 110%, plus 75%. And then this guy, of course, up by $114,000, also losing a lot of money, but that's fine because he's learning to not trade as frequently. He's learning not to trade out of emotions and greed and things like that. And so, you know, what he's made now from just $6,000 is already super impressive. It's nearly a 20 times gain, but more importantly, he's doing it safely. And so I think going like this, he has a pretty good chance of keeping these gains and not losing it and continuing to build this stack in a safe and efficient way. And that's exactly what you aim for all the time, obviously. So that's what really makes this very, very impressive to me. We have a lot of people like that. And, you know, like the worst thing is just kind of same thing with buying Bitcoin. You know, like you want to do it, you've already convinced yourself of it, but you just want a little bit of a better price because whatever, like it's an ego thing, I don't really know, and because of that you miss out on the whole thing. And I see that all the time, you know, and so that's why markets move with, you know, to cause maximum pain on the upside, and then on the downside it'll be the people that panic bought after $20,000. Obviously the correct time to buy Bitcoin, I keep saying this and people hate it when I say this, but the only good time, in my opinion, to buy it was when Bitcoin was down here. And it's very easy to say this in hindsight, but the fact is, smart people were doing it back here, right? If you were inside of FORFLIES VIP, you'll remember that I was telling you about how I was actually getting bullish on Bitcoin right towards the end of this area. I was bearish on Bitcoin during a lot of this, so I was part of the idiots too. But right at the end, I saw the light and I played a long position up to only over here. So I played about half of the rally. No, not up there. I played the long position only in this gap. But this was still at max, at the highest point where I took profits. This was still a 4 times profit, nearly 5. No, it was about 4.5 times profit, something like that. It was 360% profit. It was huge, right? And it was only this gap, and it's because I traded it on leverage. So, you know, like eventually FORFLIES saw the light. I was wrong as well. You know, we all make mistakes, but it's about, you know, where do your trades end up? It's not so much about your analysis. That's fun. There's a lot of bragging rights and things like that. You get to measure how big your dick is in front of the next guy, and if your analysis is right, and that's really cool if you care that much. But the real thing is all about where your trades are, how much money you're making in percentage and things like that, and that's what the real measure of success is as a trader, in my opinion. It shouldn't even be an opinion, it's pretty close to fact as far as I'm concerned, and that's really what's important. And so, you know, I think looking at this trend right now, from a perspective of causing maximum pain, it makes a lot of, like, we're right on the brink, I think, of causing a lot of panic in this market, and we've already done that to the upside. I think it's only fitting that we do that to the downside. We break the floor again. We get diehard believers, or not diehard believers, but we get strong believers starting to question if this thing's going to crumble. We get some panic selling. Hopefully that dips the market very low very quickly until we hit some of these support levels, and then we get a massive V-shaped correction upwards. Again, in terms of characteristics, this is exactly what we saw with Bitcoin way back in 2017. I want to highlight this to you one more time. I promise I'm going to stop looking at this soon, but this is that V-shaped correction I just described to you. Exactly the same thing, right? There was a lot of pain, we had a lot of indecision in the market, and then bam, we amped up that pain even more. I mean, by the way, this floor right here was at 2200. We dumped another 20% below this floor, right? And that's after already dumping by 23%. So this was in total a 40% correction from high down to the low, and then bam, we got that really quick V-shaped correction, because this is where the buyers re-entered the market in huge volumes. Look at this, you can see the volume absolutely spiking above all the previous candles until this really big sell-off. And so we have a lot of buyers stepping in at this level, and that's where the market ends up traveling really, really high. And that's why I think, like, this caused maximum pain. This caused idiots like me at the time to sell their Bitcoin. I ended up buying back a little bit higher, actually, somewhere around over here in August, I remember, because it was just after my birthday. And I just turned 16, I think. Yeah, that was a crazy time. And and it was the first and last time I ever panic sold. I walked back, you know, like shame in my hands. It was like walking with my tail between my legs with that expression. And I bought Bitcoin at like $3,000 after I sold it at like £1,800. I don't know what it was in dollars, maybe like 2,100 USD. And I felt like an idiot, and I bought back, and that's what's going to happen in this market again. I think that's what's super likely. So that's the bulk of my core analysis. I'm going to go through a little bit more in just a little bit, but I want to start going through your questions. So as usual, guys, if you do have a question for me, please tag me like this in the comments section if you're live watching this video right now, and I will go through your questions and answer them as I go along. If I were a gambling man, would I bet on the lowest being 27, 24, or 20? Phil, I mean, that's quite literally the million-dollar question for me, and it's the thing that I deliberately have been saying I don't know about during each of these live streams, right? Because I genuinely don't know which one it's gonna be. Are we gonna bottom out at 30? Is it gonna be 27? Is it gonna be 24 or 20? I definitely think it's gonna be one of them, although Bitcoin can always surprise us. And by the way, when I say 24, I mean like 22 to 24. So this is a rough range. It could be anywhere in this range, although I think it's more likely to be 24. I think if we go down this low, we're not going to go down to 22, 23, unless it's just a really quick wick. I don't know which one, man. I really couldn't say. I think 24 would make most sense, but I couldn't say. Really, it's too hard to say. Igor with a good question about VIP. Why do I ask for money? He's asking about VIP. Why do I run VIP if I'm making profits in the market? Because all I need to do with VIP is document my trades inside of the VIP channel. And it's the same thing I do with my trading journal, so it's not actually much extra work at all. And I've got other people running the whole operation. I've got a guy doing the ads. I've got a guy who actually does the analysis too. He's trained by me, so he's the same as me. We have exactly the same. Like I said, I go through his notes when I'm making videos, and his notes are always the same as my freestyled analysis. So we're exactly the same. I've got two guys who manage the messages too if I'm not responding to messages, and we're hiring a third person too. It's a lot, and you know, like, I'm a young guy, and it's too easy to be unproductive and lazy at the stage I'm in right now, you know, like with this kind of success. And so running VIP is just one of the things I do to keep me in a routine, keep me from becoming a degenerate, and it's nice because a lot of people get rich with me. It's really not a lot of extra work for me. Like, I just need to trade normally. So it's a good question. Sammy, thoughts on Cardano? Yeah, let's take a look at Cardano. I haven't looked at Cardano for a while. It's just in a nice little continuation pattern the way I see it, man. I mean, we pumped up nicely. It's been in a nice little trend. Big moves up, big moves down as well. What was this move? This was a pretty big correction, wasn't it? Yeah, this was minus 30%, so that's pretty sizable. And then moving right back up, and now just trading sideways in a bullish pennant, so in a bull flag. So looks pretty good to me, man. I mean, if Cardano rises above 1100 satoshis, if it gets to like 1120, something like that, in this market state, I think that would be a pretty beautiful entry level for a long position. I wouldn't take it at this stage. I don't think it's good enough, but this is something that I'd be interested in doing. I think we've been talking about it in VIP, if I'm not mistaken. It doesn't have a whole lot of resistance. It's probably a little bit higher than 1120, maybe like 1125, 1130 would probably be the entry level I would choose and just run it up. But I don't really think it's worth the risk. In this market, you see, I don't think this market has enough reason to pump up overall right now, the whole crypto market, and because of that, I'm a little bit worried about you know, like it could just kind of fake out and then go down. But right now, I think it's looking pretty good. I think, you know, like the trend is good. It's consolidated for a while now, hasn't it? Like, what is it doing right now? Consolidated for 6 days. That's not too long actually, but I think that it's got some potential to move up. This is something like, if I had a little bit less if I had a little bit less awareness of what I was doing, if I were a little bit newer in the market and I was willing to take slightly bigger risks, only slightly bigger, I would probably trade this, and I think it looks good. Yeah, I wouldn't trade it to the downside. I don't think it's gonna drop much. It's been really strong. This is Cardano against Bitcoin, and actually Cardano against the US dollar must be even more impressive. Let's look at that. Let's look at Cardano USD. Look at it on Kraken. And actually, let me see when this whole rally started for Cardano. I think it's definitely moved better against the dollar, but I might be wrong. So it's doubled. Wow, it's doubled in 20 days. What did it do against the dollar? And this was when? 3rd of January. So this was right at the beginning of this year. Let's see what it did since the 3rd of January here. This was the 3rd of January up to the high. Yeah, it's done better against the dollar. No surprise. So I think it's doing really well. It's outperforming Bitcoin, and it's holding pretty good ground. So I like what it's doing right now. This is one of the coins that I would trade as well. So I'm very interested in doing that. You never address Bitcoin scarcity, which is getting more real by the day. Yeah, it is, but that's only until there's a lot of panic in the market, and it will come, don't worry. If you're mostly liquid at the moment, what would your short-term play be? Define liquid, because depending on how big your balances are, Bitcoin is pretty liquid. So by liquid, you could mean US dollar or you could mean Bitcoin, and I wouldn't know. I think if I wasn't in Bitcoin right now, I would dollar cost average here, because I think there's still a good chance of Bitcoin going down, but I also think that there's a bit of a connection issue. Please let me know if connection is okay. Getting that weird annoying issue again. Please let me know if you can hear this all okay. But yeah, if I wasn't in Bitcoin right now, I think dollar cost averaging would make sense, which means I would buy a little bit here, buy a little bit in 2 days, a little bit in 2 days, a little bit in 2 days. Ideally, Bitcoin goes down, so you average a good entry. Doesn't necessarily mean 2 days. You could buy a little bit every time Bitcoin drops $500, for example. I think that's what I would do, because I think there's a pretty decent chance of Bitcoin going down right now. But if it did start recovering from here, that would also make sense. And so that's my take right now if I didn't hold any Bitcoin. Because I obviously think it's going to breach the previous all-time high. Yeah, by the way, just looking at these comments and these likes, we've been doing amazing on this channel lately. We just passed 63,000 subscribers recently, and we're already nearly at 64. So if you haven't already, please do subscribe. It really, really helps the channel. I'll do more of these live streams and things like that because I love your support as well. Phil, I know you don't know. Wish we had a crystal ball. Yeah, me too. Falcon asking, FORFLIES, Sammy Loyal bro, how do you cash out and sell your crypto for cash in Dubai? I recently moved here and was wondering. There are a lot of ways. You can even use standard exchanges, man. I can't answer that for you because I can't make recommendations, but it's just a Google away. Like it'll be pretty easy to find out. If I'm not mistaken, things like Coinbase and stuff still work here. Someone asking how to join. If you want to join VIP and watch me trading in real time, get all the insights on exactly what I'm doing, the steps are on screen right now. FORFLIES, how do you match up this realistic TA and fact that whales buying up all dips? Michael Saylor bought last dip 10 mil at 31.8. I don't really know how to answer that. It's whales are an easy scapegoat isn't the right word, but it's easy to say, oh, but the whales are doing that, so it must be right. And crypto traders always do that. But I'm more interested in where is the real smart money buying, and they've already bought. You know, and this is what people really like. There are exceptions, right? Michael Saylor is a very notable exception, but most of the people with serious money who are like very, very good with their money, they bought in the 3K range. I know this out of experience. I spoke to people who sold to them. I spoke to the OTC desks and things like that. And it makes sense. That was an accumulation zone. From a technical perspective, it's clear as day. I only realized it the day before we pumped out of that accumulation range at 3K. I only realized it the day before, but it was very, very obvious. Intrinsic value is very real on Bitcoin. I don't think so. I don't think there's intrinsic value in anything. Maybe in something like gold, but it's not the point. We don't need intrinsic value. Intrinsic value is a weak one. I'm getting, yeah, it looks like there's issues with the live stream today. I hope it's not too bad. Just looking at the comments, no one's complaining about it. What's my view on Ethereum? We were just covering that, bro. Go ahead and skip back in the live stream. Gonna go through some more questions, but like I said, I'm not gonna stay on for too long today because I do have to be somewhere else shortly. FORFLIES, what is your expectation with ETH now? Is it going to go high more? Yeah, literally just covered that, bro. So just rewind the video, the live stream, and take a look at and listen to what I said. FORFLIES, can you please talk about the Ichimoku on the daily? Of course I can. Good idea. Thank you very much for that, Mitch. On the daily time frame, let's take a naked chart where I haven't drawn anything because it's just going to be a little bit easier to analyze. Ichimoku on the daily. Oh wow, that's nice. That's really nice. So what this is telling me is if Bitcoin ends up trading downwards slowly, we would have more of a time-based correction. This would take us into kind of the middle of February, early days of February, if we end up finding support here. And this would become more of a time-based correction. It lines up beautifully with that 27K range that I mentioned, so we could kind of, you know, trade sideways and then drop. That would make perfect sense, you know, like, so let me just clarify that. If we end up trading sideways a little bit over here and then we dump into this range, we switch it back to the daily and we look at the Ichimoku cloud, look at how perfectly that lines up. That's probably a little bit too much. Actually, let me remove these lines. It would probably look something a little bit like this. You know, we just trade sideways here for a week or two. This would annoy a lot of people, and then we take another leg down. This is exactly what I described happened in 2017, and it makes a lot of sense. So this daily Ichimoku looks really good. Broadly speaking, I don't think we're going to hit this. I think this is really far away. I think the market is going to make a really big move up much sooner than that, but it would be cool if we did end up going down there. I think that would be very healthy, but I don't want to place my bet on that. By the way, when I look this way, I'm facing my microphone and the audio is a lot better. When I look back here, the audio is a little bit worse. I'm working on fixing that. My solution to it is about 5 days away. So bear with me, and the audio is going to get right back to the quality that we had back in London every single day. Looks like ETH is about to break out today. Do I say? Everyone's asking me about ETH, but I covered it like a lot in this live stream. So just rewind it. Yeah, I agree with you. I was saying good things about Ethereum. So please just go back and you'll see exactly what my thoughts are on this, because I don't want to repeat it for everyone else who is watching. FORFLIES, what about institutional investors like MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor buying 10 mil worth of Bitcoin at 31.8? Is this new support going to higher resistance level before going to higher resistance levels? That would make a lot of sense, Matt. It would make a lot of sense, and like I said, I'm moving a little bit closer to neutral territory now because Bitcoin has done a lot of what I was looking for. It hasn't done it as well, but technically speaking, it has done it. And so I think that could make some sense. It would be a case of setting higher lows if we ended up moving up from here, because, yeah, I mean, we set lows over here. Look at this. The lows are getting higher. So it would make sense. I would rather not make a judgment on that yet, though, because I still think there's so much opportunity for this market to continue tanking, like I said, to cause max pain. I still think it makes more sense overall. Please do Dash TA. I don't really look at Dash these days, unfortunately. It's not something I can trade on leverage, so I don't trade it. Thoughts on sushi? Same thing, brother. Don't really look at sushi. I think these coins are stupid as hell. Well, Dash isn't, but sushi, like, why? Sammy, is it possible that the large descending triangle on Bitcoin is actually a descending wedge instead? Would it make a difference? I don't think so. Let's take a look. I don't think it would make a big difference. Let me check though. I might be wrong about that. Descending wedge. So he's asking me essentially if Bitcoin is doing something a little bit like this. This is what you're talking about? Something a bit like this. Yeah, it's possible. It actually, if it's forming a pattern like this, then it's quite bullish. And what I showed you in the last live stream is we could just be in a parallel channel, which would be a typical kind of falling wedge, descending wedge, as you said it. There are different ways to draw the same thing all the time, and I think this one makes a lot of sense. Yeah, and this is actually one of the key theories I have in this market right now. So you know, we could take a little bit longer to dip down to 27. This could happen by, actually this would only be 3 days later. We would still be within this falling wedge, and we would fall down to 27, which is the support area I was looking at, maybe even a little bit sooner. Look, this would put us at 28k, which is pretty much the same level. Look at this area, very, very close to this support zone that we established. And then, yeah, we break out. I think that would make a lot of sense. I think that would make a lot of sense. That's why overall I'm still bullish in this market, 100%. FORFLIES, is there a strategy leveraging up in a position and rebuying and it averages your entry? Hope that makes sense. Unfortunately, Gary, I didn't understand your question, so please clarify that. Maybe reword it. I didn't understand that. Gold has big intrinsic value. Oh, I missed that. I'm sorry, I just lost your question or your comment. Big intrinsic value, very useful in electronics and jewelry. Besides, it's beautiful. Yeah, I don't think that's good enough, but you've got a point. New here, what is the difference between Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash? Oh man, first of all, welcome to the space. Bitcoin Cash was a fork of Bitcoin, which is to say, you've got, what's a good example? It's like saying you've got a very big car company, and there are two owners of the car company. There are no owners of Bitcoin, so this analogy isn't 100% accurate, but you've got two owners of the car company, and one of them decides that this car company isn't being ran properly, so he opens his own car company. You've got Volkswagen here, and you've got Volkswagen Plus. This is the new one, and or in this case Volkswagen Cash, and it's ran by the people who thought that the original Volkswagen wasn't being ran properly. So it's like it's like a country like North Sudan and South Sudan, you know. It's like how a big country gets split up into smaller countries because of power struggles. And I don't know, maybe another one would be Kosovo and Albania, you know, like that's it's basically like some of the people in the space don't think that the first thing is being done correctly, so they make a parallel version of it, and Bitcoin Cash is that parallel version. The issue with Bitcoin Cash, and the reason that it's a fucking joke and it should die in a hole, is the people who run Bitcoin Cash, they are very misleading. If you go to a website like bitcoin.com, let's go to bitcoin.com here. They bought this domain. It's very, very misleading, and they try to get you to buy Bitcoin Cash instead of Bitcoin. They put Bitcoin Cash on the top. They show you only Bitcoin Cash. They make Bitcoin Cash look like the real thing because they believe it's real. So obviously in their heads they're right, but it's very misleading. You know, you would be looking for Bitcoin, but instead you find Bitcoin Cash. It's the same thing with Ethereum and Ethereum Classic. You know, people will be looking for Ethereum, but they will accidentally buy Ethereum Classic. We've got 900 people watching this live stream right now. I'm sure that some of you have made that mistake, and it's deliberately misleading that way. So let's just see if I can find another example. Let's go to Exchange probably. And let's see, are they I can't use this, I probably shouldn't do this live. Over here they do have Bitcoin, which is good. However, they always position Bitcoin Cash to be first, and for that reason it's very misleading. Look, join the Bitcoin Cash marketplace. They're really trying to push this to you instead of Bitcoin. And my issue with this is there's a lot of I want to say corruption. It's not necessarily corruption, but there's a lot of misleading marketing around this coin, and there shouldn't be marketing at all, you know. And so these are the big problem with bcash is a lot of people who advocate for it. They were early investors in it, and they're just doing it because they stand to gain a lot more personally if Bitcoin Cash goes up as opposed to if Bitcoin goes up. The difference is politics, essentially. But the real Bitcoin is Bitcoin. It's BTC. Very, very important. If you guys are new, don't get them mixed up, because they do try to mislead you. FORFLIES, do you believe in alt season? Yes, I do. And if so, are we soon to be in it? I mean, some of these coins are already in it, bro. Link has just done like a 2x in like 15, no, like a week. What is this? Like 11th of January? 11 days later, 12 days later, it's up by 100%. So, I don't know about you, mate, but that's pretty close to alt season for me. Cardano, since the start of this month, has doubled. So, since the start of this month, it's doubled. So, it depends how you define alt season, but I think we're in it right now, to be honest with you. Do you think we can have March 2020 crash happen again? Rome, I don't think that's going to happen. It's always possible, but we already had it, and the fundamentals were really bad, you know, and things like that. So it made sense that we had it. I don't think things look nearly as bad right now. There was a lot of fear around the pandemic until we learned more about it and realized what it actually is. And it's not often that you get that kind of fear. By the way, I see that my assistant has responded to every single one of you who asked about VIP. So if you haven't already, then definitely get in, follow these steps on screen, and we can get you enrolled in VIP. FORFLIES, what Gary said, like laddering a trade but doubling your position every level to cancel out your leverage or original entry. That still doesn't make sense to me, Phil and Gary. Unfortunately, I don't get you. You can message me on Telegram. I'll see if I can answer you. Hi, I love the show from Brain Chaser. Wanted to ask if you also see the M pattern in higher time frames. Yeah, we talked about it in the last video. There's definitely an M pattern in this market right now, which is very, very bearish. It's usually a very, very bad thing in the markets, in my opinion. We got a something a bit like a W here, which is usually very bullish, but right here definitely have a bit of an M. It's a bit clearer if I zoom out. Again, let's use a naked chart so it's a bit easier to see. And yeah, we definitely do have an M pattern here. Probably switch it on to the 8 hour. You can see it really clearly. This is just showing us we top out once, we tried again, and we topped out again. And that's just to say we are at the whim of at the mercy of the bears right now. FORFLIES, I come to this channel for TA, but I stay for the analogies. There you go, Joseph. I'm so glad I'm delivering for you. Smash up the likes for the analogies. They want to take advantage of the name. This is in regards to bcash. I agree with you. I don't have an opinion on LTO. Please suggest an exchange in the US to short Bitcoin. A lot of the people I know in the US, Alexander, they use Bybit in the description, the link in the description. Almost every single US trader I know uses Bybit, and I've linked it in the description for you. You can also search this in YouTube, and you can watch my tutorial on Bybit. It helps you because you get some free money to play with. Bit of a connection issue, but using that Bybit link helps you because you get some free money to play with, and it also helps me as well with the channel. The thing with Bybit in the US is you need to use a VPN, and there are a lot of VPNs, NordVPN, ExpressVPN, things like that. I can't endorse that. I can't recommend that to you, but I know like nearly everyone I know uses this. That doesn't make it okay, but it's up to you on if you want to do that. But Bybit is a pretty popular one. The link in the description helps you and helps me as well. Phil, smash up the likes for more daily updates. Thank you very much, Phil. I love your support. You've been amazing. Absolutely. If you guys can smash up those likes, would appreciate it. To heaven and back. We're nearly at 64K subscribers. Where are we right now? So close. Yeah, just like 100 away. And we only hit 63 like 2 days ago. It's the fastest growth we've ever seen. Thomas, how many indexes do you watch instead of crypto? I only watch the S&P 500 because it's a very, very good indicator for where the rest of the market's going, including Bitcoin, and the UK 100, although I really shouldn't because there's very little that's good about the UK anymore, but I guess it's just a little bit of pride. I don't really watch other indexes. Let's go off the UK index. I'm heartbroken by the UK. Hurts my feelings. Yeah, Space Oddity saying Bybit with a VPN. Yeah, most people I know in the US, they just use Bybit with a VPN. Pretty standard. FORFLIES opinion on Litecoin. I don't really analyze Litecoin anymore, unfortunately. I don't want to look at it today because I don't actually do much analysis on it. So if I look at it blind, I might give you some bad analysis. Gary's talking about DCA trade entries. I understand he's talking about DCA, but I don't know what specifically. Do I think Link will correct? At the moment, no. It might correct by a bit, like 10-20%, but I don't think it's going to go too much. I don't think it's going to go down too much. CB, just got into crypto. Any advice? Trade safely. Educate yourself. Educate yourself. Educate yourself. That's the #1 priority, in my opinion. You're going to lose a lot of money, and it's almost unavoidable. And if you educate yourself, you will limit how much of that you suffer to lose. That's exactly why inside of VIP, if you're a beginner, if you're new to the game, I will give you one of our courses for free, and you can go through that content as you go along in VIP. It's at the lowest prices it's ever been. We'll give you a course along with your VIP membership. In fact, we already do that. If you take our quarterly subscription, we'll give you our regular course for free. It's a $500 course. Give it to you completely free of charge. If you take our yearly plan, which has been super popular lately, you'll also get our advanced course, which is just absolutely next level, along with phone calls with me as well, if you're interested in that. And I think that's a big part of how to tackle this game safely if you're new to it. We have a lot of people inside of VIP who are new to the game, and they're able to do very well after going through our course and watching me trade in real time as well. So with the course, they learn the theory of everything I'm doing, and with VIP, they watch me implementing it. So you get the theory and the practical side by side. It is an amazing combination. I definitely like it. It's what I did when I started out. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough for me because I was a bloody gambler, and you can't fix a gambler in trading. Nothing can, not even VIP, believe it or not. So if you're a gambler, don't even join. You're just going to be disappointed. You'll lose more money after joining VIP, and you'll hate yourself, and then you'll hate me too. So don't gamble, and if you are, don't join. But yeah, it's an important thing in my opinion. If you're new, look, there is an easy way and there is a hard way to learn everything, and you want to make sure you learn as many things the easy way as possible. If Bitcoin reaches, oh, I lost your question, 30 to 27k, what is your prediction for Ethereum? Good question, Hans. Ethereum is performing really well right now, so Ethereum I don't think would drop too low. The lowest I think it would go is probably 1000 or 920, one of these two levels. I think it would either fall down to here or down to here. These are where I see support for Ethereum. Probably more likely somewhere around over here. Phil, can I have a job as your YouTube comments hype man? You got it, man. If you want to be a moderator, let me know. I'll make you a mod as well. We don't really get spammers in the comments anymore, but I think you've earned it. So if you'd like to do that, let me know. Just message me on Telegram. You always talk smack about the UK. What's your biggest gripe? Jameson, I'm British, you know, like first of all, I don't know if you're British or not, but it's in our I'm not British by blood, to be fair. I'm Indian Pakistani by blood, but it's in our proverbial blood to complain about everything, especially the weather and stuff like that. And so I still love my country, right? Like, it's my country, and it's home, but it's, you know what, the biggest thing for me, and it's the same thing across all of Europe, and I guess the whole of the West, is the people are really damn weak, and they don't want to be stronger, you know, like they're pretty happy being miserable and weak. It's addictive, right? It's the cortisol that gets addictive, and so cortisol is the stress hormone, if you don't know. And I see that all over the country. It's so obvious with the pandemic, you know, like, obviously I know the pandemic's real and stuff like that, but the complacency that it bred in people, like these surgical masks that we wear, this bullshit, this isn't doing shit. Like, this is the equivalent of holding a tennis racket in front of your face and then saying, yeah, this is going to protect me from the virus. This is bullshit. And like, the only way you wouldn't know that is if you haven't gone out there yourself to get some basic scientific knowledge. And like, come on, like, it's, viruses are small, like really small. You know, these These fucking paper masks aren't doing shit. The statistics tell you that, but nobody's got that critical thinking of their own. They will be happily told what to do. And this is the same all over the world, by the way. You know, like, I don't think there is a single country that does this better than another one. You know, like, there might be countries where people are a little bit better at independent thinking than others. Definitely not in the UAE. Like, the UAE isn't better than the UK in this way. It's just that all of these things compound on top of each other, and I have to pay 50% of everything I make to the government, and then they'll spend it on wine and caviar and giving themselves raises while the rest of the country gets poorer, you know? So there is a lot, but for me, it really is the complacency of the people. I wanted to stay there, and I wanted to keep feeling pride about being British, but I saw that there wasn't really much reason to still put up a fight to love that country and see that country regrow and get stronger. And I swear a lot of it is just down to how weak the public has become. It's heartbreaking, man. It's heartbreaking. I hate it so much. Why are Bitcoin and Ethereum... Oh, I've missed it again. These comments, it skips down to the bottom if I scroll down. Why are they the most popular cryptocurrencies? If new crypto has the same function as Bitcoin, then why wouldn't they have the same value relative to USD? That's a good question, David. I'm going to try to answer your question, but I'm going to preface this by saying that I'm not the right person to answer this question. While I go along, I see some people asking about VIP, so the steps to join are on screen. Bitcoin and Ethereum don't serve the same functions. They can do the same things, the same as gold and silver can be used to transfer and store a value. You know, you can send it from A to B, you can pay people in gold coins, silver coins, but they don't do the same things, right? Gold would be used in jewelry, for example. Silver would be used in electronics. I don't know, just random examples. They're made to do different things, but they can serve similar functions. So that's number one. They have the same functions, but they're not made to do the same things. Each cryptocurrency, for the most part, is made to do something different, and that's why they get different eyeballs and different you know, attention and things like that. And then there's also the element of established track records and things like that. You know, maybe one coin has had issues, there's threats of it getting hacked, whatever. I mean, no crypto can necessarily be hacked. It's a complicated discussion, but there are things that distinguish each other. What else is there? There are more factors, David, but as I keep answering your question, the main things I realize are that they do not have the same functions. They're subject to different pieces of TA, and I think the main thing is actually this entire market, broadly speaking, is still entirely speculative, right? Like 95% of the people in here are only speculating on this market to make money. And that means while they are similar in a lot of ways, they look distinct, and that's why they move in different ways. And because, like, when you look at it zoomed out, all cryptos are the same, but when you look closer, it's like an alien comes to planet Earth and each car is exactly the same. But if you're a human and you drive cars, you will know that they're different, you know, and each car is different at different things. Like it's better and worse at different things, and so there are distinct differences, but when you zoom out, they look the same. And I think that's another thing, David. You will see that through your research if you keep researching these coins. The other one is supply and demand. Coins like Ethereum have a much bigger supply than Bitcoin, and as a result of that, the price would be lower, but the overall market might be worth the same. It's not, but it's an example. There are a lot of factors that go into it, but I think those are some of the core reasons. And if you actually are very curious, I would recommend you watch somebody else on YouTube who is a little bit more clued up on this stuff. Tone Vase would probably be a good person to ask this question to. I'm trying to think of small YouTubers who would actually read the comments, because if you go to someone like Crypto, they won't have a chance to read the comments. It's just too many comments in the live stream. Who else would be? That Martini guy would probably answer your question. He would give you a very good answer. He's a very good friend of mine. I love him. He's amazing. He's another British YouTuber actually, so he might have an answer for you. I'm not the right guy to be answering that question, but hopefully I did help you a little bit with that. What else have we got in the comment section today? Yeah, everybody forgot about the 9K CME gap. Is it possible to fill it completely? It's still possible to fill it completely. You know, people don't expect it, but it will probably happen. It could happen. I would love that, but actually, to be fair, that would also scare me because that's quite a big drop from the all-time high down to 9.8. What is that? That's a 77% drop. Yeah, that's gonna shake me. I'll be honest with you, man. But I think that I think that there's I don't think it's gonna happen. But if it did, it would be cool. Obviously, it would be a nice retracement. That would be a lot, but it would yeah. I don't know. Phil with an amazing comment. I think I was a gambler and you changed me. Well, thank you very much, Phil. Yeah, it's the main thing I tried to do, man, because a lot of people, it's not the main thing, but it's one of them, because a lot of people, they are gamblers and they don't even know it. And that is usually what destroys. Oh, I've got to get going soon because it's just gone past 9 p.m. here in Dubai. But that's often what destroys traders, and they don't even know they're gambling because they haven't had a formal education in trading. And you know, a lot of people, and this is a big deal. I'm going to blow up my camera when I tell you this one, because you know, we don't really like, we are retail traders, every one of us on this live stream today, including me. And as a result of being retail, we don't really consider these things, but we will come from our 9-to-5 jobs, our normal lives, and we will step into crypto and we will see how easy it looks to make a lot of money and how possible it is, and we will calculate it. If I had just entered this trade here or this leverage, I would be up here. And it's a, you know, like it gets you thinking, it gets you wishing, it gets you drooling. And when that happens, you don't really treat trading as a business. You treat it as a lottery ticket, and it's almost like a subconscious thing. You might not even be aware of it. The people who are worst at it, they might be aware of it because they do it a lot, but regular people will probably just do it by accident. And a big part of that, I think, is reeling it back in, treating it like a business, treating it with the respect that it deserves. And it's not easy to do that. One of the key ways you can achieve that is by watching someone else do it correctly. And I say correctly as if I'm doing it correctly, but if you think that's something I might do, if you think I would do it correctly, then VIP is where you can watch me doing it. Another one is reading trading books. They're pretty cheap. You know, like if you can't get into VIP, you can buy a trading book. There's a link in the description to Market Wizards. So if you're relatively experienced, if you've been trading for more than 6 months, more than 12 months, that book is going to be great for you. It'll really clear a lot of things up for you, in my opinion. And by the way, it's a book where nearly every time I read it, I ended up making huge gains shortly afterwards, because it just gets you in the right mindset. Similar thing to how when a lot of people join VIP, they get in the right mindset and they just naturally make really, really good trades. Similar thing happens to me with this book, and it's super cheap. It's way cheaper than VIP. It's like $7 on Audible. So, because I listen to audiobooks because I'm a kid and I can't concentrate on reading. Let's go back to your questions, but yeah, gambling is a big deal, and most of us, we don't realize we're doing it because we see it as a lottery ticket, and the potential gains blind us to reality. So common. Mike de Hollander saying that is the Dutch way of complaining. It's probably pretty common across a lot of Europe. N95, buddy. N95s are good, those masks, yeah, instead of these paper masks, but we don't have them because they're expensive. You know, like, you're not meant to use them twice, and they're like £2 each or something. You know, it's too expensive. £2 is like what, like $2.60, something like that. I don't even know. It's expensive. You know, like, you can't get that every single day to the whole population, and so that's why, like, this whole mask thing is BS. It's bullshit, and I don't know where it comes from, right? Because at the beginning they were obvious. I don't even want to talk about it too much, but at the beginning they were like, don't buy them, don't get them, they're not useful, and then it's just they reverse that propaganda. It's stupid. Pepe, I did not move to the UAE for moral reasons. I don't know where you got that from. I moved to the UAE because I like the culture, I like the weather, I like the people here. I don't like the taxes in the West. I'm from the UK and I agree with you. I'm a critical thinker. Thank you very much. Yes, lad, I'm a UK paramedic. Thank you for your service, brother. and I never wear masks outside of work. Country of sheep. Want to get rich on crypto and then fuck up, then fuck Britain off. Yeah, I can see exactly what you're talking about. Most of us see that, right? Like, how many of us are in this live stream? There's about 800 of us here. I'm sure out of 800, probably like 600 of you guys agree with my sentiment on masks and things like that. It's you know, but I don't know what it is. I don't know why a lot of people bow down to it as sheep, and I can only imagine it's because they like somebody else doing the thinking for them, which is exhausting if you are a critical thinker. If you can think for yourself and you learned how to, it's exhausting when everyone else around you is like that. The masks prevent you from spreading the virus, but no, not really, because the virus is so much smaller than the fabric of the mask. It'll just, like I said, it's like holding a tennis racket in front of your face and saying this is going to protect me from spreading this is going to protect others from me spreading the virus to them. No, not really, because the virus will just go through the holes in the tennis racket, and it's the same thing with your mask. Unless you've got, like, by the way, PSA, in case any of you care, the way you know if a mask is working is if you struggle to breathe. And you're not struggling to breathe in your bitch masks. So just keep that in mind. You know, like, it'll have a proper filter and you will struggle to breathe wearing a proper mask. Like a mask that actually spreads. A mask that actually prevents the spread of a virus. Your surgical mask isn't. The only thing your surgical mask is doing is preventing your spit particles from spreading to other people. So it's better than nothing, just like a tennis racket is better than nothing, but it's not the you know, the savior of the pandemic and things like that. You know, like it you get these stupid things like one-way systems, but we all walk through the same car. I'm gonna stop. I'm sorry, I can't. This channel is about TA. Let's keep it focused. This is not important right now. It's difficult to pay for a course whenever YouTuber suddenly has a pro trader teacher. Yeah, if you wanna buy something from me because you think my content is good, then I've also got something for you which starts at $37. It's called Trade Insane, and it's in the description. So go ahead and find that link. It's $37. It's not like a technical course or anything like that, but it's all about psychology, and it's been amazing. So a lot of people have gotten into that and they've loved it. I would definitely recommend you take a look at it. If you wanna jump into something I've got, I made it just for you. If you can't afford the other stuff, you would love it. Hashoshi, yeah, good trader if you want to ask fundamental questions like why are Bitcoin and Ethereum valued differently. FORFLIES, if all crypto are different, why most of their price up and down based on Bitcoin? Because they're not actually that different, and so Bitcoin is the big ship that steers it. Like, when you zoom out, they're not actually very different. They're still cryptocurrencies at the end of the day. And again, they're very speculative. So people don't buy Bitcoin because it has a unique selling point over Bitcoin Cash. No, people buy Bitcoin because they want to make money. And so if that reason isn't, if you can't make money on Bitcoin right now and it looks scary and it looks like it's going to go down, then you also don't have a reason to buy the rest of these cryptos. Really, really important point to understand. What would happen if Bitcoin was the world currency? That's not happening, and the world needed a stimulus to save the poor people. Well, you wouldn't be able to do that with Bitcoin. It's not going to happen. I don't know. Maybe it does. Hopefully, I eat my words, but that's that's different. I don't know about that. Gary, do I have an opening on my team? I do actually, but we're hiring people out of some other places, not from YouTube today. What is the name of the book? So the book is in the description. It's called Trading Wizards. No, Market Wizards. And I've got the link for it in the UK and US Amazon. Let's see if we have any other questions. You have more insight and wisdom than men 3 times your age. Thank you very much. Standing on the shoulders of giants. I was so lucky to learn from so many very, very smart people, and I started reading very good books at a young age too, which opened my mind, because school definitely didn't do that, but self-education does. How would you take a measured move from the current descending triangle that we're in right now? I wouldn't take a measured move right now. Right, guys, I think I'll go relatively soon. It looks like we kind of ran out of TA questions, and I love getting into political discussions with you guys. Everyone loves ranting about politics, but I know that that's not what you're here for, and I also know that I'm not... What are harmonics? What's harmonic? Harmonics? A harmonic is any member of the harmonic series. The term is employed in various disciplines. I don't even know what this is. I'm sorry. I dropped out of high school, bro. I'm an idiot. You know, I was writing the letter J today, and I forgot how you write J. That's how stupid I am. My knowledge is very specialized. Outside of the stuff I know, like I couldn't write a J today. I forgot how to write with my hand. That's how out of touch I am, unfortunately. Farzana, my son, 14, wants to learn about crypto market. What do you suggest to start with zero knowledge? 14. I started when I was 15, Farzana, and the way I started was I couldn't afford any of the really good resources, so I bought a $10 course off Udemy. Udemy is spelled like this, and I typed in like Bitcoin course, and I bought one of them, and I just started learning everything I could about it. 15 and 14 isn't really a big difference, and I think this would be a great approach. This will teach your son the basics of how to move crypto around, which is really important. It will teach him the basics about security, which is again very, very important, and it will also teach him a little bit about the technicals, a little bit about what trading means. Beyond that, there is also a book in the description. It's called Technical Analysis of the Financial Markets. I've got the US and the UK link on Amazon to that book. This is a great book for technicals to teach your son about all the basics, again, in a really, really good way. It's a great book. After that, when he's got a little bit more experience, if he hasn't quit by then, because believe me, he's going to get tested and he's probably going to quit, statistically speaking. Everyone quits. 90% of people actually do quit in this game because it's really, really difficult. If he doesn't quit by then, I would recommend him to read... I'm sorry, I wouldn't make a recommendation. I would highly... I would read, if I was in his position, Market Wizards, which is the second book I've linked in the description, and that's all about the psychology of being a trader. What else would I do beyond that? That's the Udemy course, the book, the other book. I think by that point your son will be in pretty good shape. The main thing is make sure he's disciplined, make sure he journals everything he does. He writes... I just saw your comment, Tracker Nation. I can't even say that out loud, I'm sorry. Make sure that he keeps a record of everything he does, and more importantly, the reasons for why he does what he does. By the way, I see my assistant is back online right now, and he's responding to your messages. So if you have any questions about VIP, if you want to get in with the best prices we've ever used, then the steps are on screen again. But I think that's a good approach for him. Yeah, I think that's a lot for him to go off. So you can maybe rewind the video and write down the steps I gave. Shout out to him, man. I love it when young people get into stuff like this. Like I said, I did when I was 15 and it changed my life. FORFLIES, there is a YouTuber that uses astrology to predict Bitcoin prices. You think it's legit? Mitch, I got that question a few days ago. I try to be scientific, and I try. You guys know that's bullshit, but I try to be realistic and grounded and very I don't know, I guess the right word is scientific about what I do, and astrological price predictions is not that. So I lean away from it. However, I know that those people can sometimes have really, really good success rates, and this is a field that I don't really understand and I haven't really bothered learning. So I'm not the right person to answer your question. But if you if you have good insight into this and you are willing to learn and things like that. I'm sorry, connection dropped again. If you're willing to learn about astrology and things like that, and you think it might be important to you, then yeah, you should definitely look into it. Simon, in Japan, they've been wearing masks for decades just for a simple cold. It's their custom to prevent others from being infected, which is absolutely great, Simon, because it's better than nothing. Just like a tennis racket is better than nothing. But they also captured the virus in the very early stages, and the West was not taking it seriously. In fact, right at the start of the pandemic in January of last year, 12 months ago, I remember looking at BBC News every single day. BBC News is our national broadcasting service. It's our news. It's like our CNN. And every single day I would look at BBC News and I'd be thinking, why are they not talking about coronavirus right now? Because Asia started going into lockdowns really quick. Because it was spreading in Asia earlier on before it hit the West, but also because it's a custom for that. Like they're used to tackling little outbreaks. And so going into lockdowns wasn't really a problem. No one was saying, oh, my freedom, whatever. They were just going into lockdowns, getting it done with, and that's why they handled it so well. It was not their paper masks. That didn't do anything. You know, like it's like I said, it's better than nothing. Holding a tennis racket is better than nothing too. But Asia handled it really well because they went into lockdowns early. And that's what the West should have done too. I looked at the YouTube channel of BBC every single day, and they weren't even covering coronavirus, and I was thinking, what the fuck is going on? Like, this is super, super serious. This could turn out to be really bad. I was very scared. I bought 2,000 masks. I was super paranoid at the beginning. And I bought these paper masks because I didn't do my research. I was so disappointed when I got them, and then I learned what actual masks were, because that was a waste of money. I got it cheap, to be fair, but I just ended up donating it to hospitals and stuff. But yeah, you know, like it's not that, it's that they just took it seriously earlier on, man. FORFLIES, do you think Chinese New Year in February might pump money into crypto? Nope, I don't think it makes a difference. I think Diwali coincided with the start of this pump, or maybe I'm wrong. I really, really don't think that any religious festival or anything like that is gonna have a weighing on Bitcoin. I really, really don't think so. RSV, it actually was Superman's course, but it's not that I would recommend it. It was good to get something rather than nothing. Phil, once again, coming in clutch in the comment section. Smash up the likes, hit the subscribe button, bell button and all. Thank you very much. Yeah, if you haven't already, please do like the video. Please do subscribe as well, if you haven't already. Tick the bell, because this is very timely content. Shout out to Phil for being amazing in the comments. Farzana, you're very welcome. I hope it helps your son. Best of luck to him. And ask him to reach out to me personally on Telegram if he ever needs any help. I will always help someone young. I love it. I love it so much. Yeah, guys, they did wear masks in Asia, but they went into lockdowns really quickly. They took the virus seriously really quickly. And that's what really made the difference. Right, guys, I'm gonna get going. I'm probably about to be late, so I really, really need to go right now. It's been a good live stream. A little bit too political. I promise you I will not make it political again in the future, because you guys aren't here to hear that. You guys don't want to hear that. I'm not an expert. Getting a lot of connection issues. I'm not an expert in politics and virology and things like that, and I don't claim to be, and I'm not your guy to listen to if that's what interests you. The only thing I can say is learn how to learn, especially to the young people who are younger than me. Learn how to learn how to be a critical thinker and challenge information, and you'll be good. It's always the main thing. So I'm gonna get going, and I hope you have enjoyed this live stream anyway. I'm sorry for all the political talk. Like I said, it's not gonna happen again. It's not my priority. I'm not here for that. You're not here for that. We want to talk about money. We want to talk about TA. We're less than 100 subscribers away from hitting 64K. So if you guys haven't already subscribed, please do. I'm gonna get going now, and I'll see you all in the next live stream. All right, take it easy. Bye bye.